Hello and welcome back to my channel where we make life happen for us instead of to us, and I talk about how we can do that. And today I want to talk about how we don't need to work hard to get what we want, and I'll explain what I mean by this. But to start, what I think we need to get what we want are a few things. Number one, to know what we want. Number two, to use our imagination and be convinced of what we want. And number three, to act on what we want. Not work hard, just act. So I think I've done a pretty good job in previous videos talking about how we can use our imagination to our advantage to get what we want, and how we can train our brain to help us get what we want. And those videos will be linked in the description if you haven't watched them yet, but I do suggest watching them because quite a few people found them helpful. But us not working hard to get what we want, this is related to those points, right? Which is why I keep saying it's important for you to go back and watch those videos if you haven't already. And in order to not work hard, we need to be convinced that what we want can happen for us, or technically has happened for us, or is very, very likely to happen for us. And how can we be convinced? Through things that I've talked about previously, right? Things like imagination, visualization, repetition, stuff like that. And if these things go together, we end up getting inspired to do things like actions that will lead us to getting what we want. And we end up getting to those solutions or actions without needing to rack our brains for it or work hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the part of our brains that we don't actively use to figure all of that out for us. And this is why I'm saying we won't need to work hard and it won't feel difficult because it'll happen naturally. So now I'm going to explain this further. Okay, so in previous videos, I've talked about how when you are focused on something, when something is, let's say, normalized to you, right, your brain will work to bring it about. And your brain will work to bring it about because it thinks it's true. And your brain has a bias, your brain, our brains, right? Everyone's brain, it has a bias and wants to prove itself right? Thus proving that whatever you believe is true. Or if something is normalized, your brain wants to keep it the exact same as it is. Because your brain's job is to keep you alive, right? Our brains, the job of our brains is to keep us alive, to keep us safe. So if something has happened repeatedly and we have survived it, then clearly it's safe, or it's safe enough for us because we've survived it once and over again. So whatever is normal is safe. And our brains are going to want to keep us safe, which is whatever is normal. And the point of being convinced is to get your brain feeling like what you want is normal. Now, going back to what I was saying about you working hard or doing work. The thing is that when you have your focus on something, or when something is normal to you, or when you believe or you're convinced of something, your brain will come up with solutions, with actions to make the thing happen or keep happening, right? So consciously, this will look like you acting on an idea to do a thing. Unconsciously, this might look like you suddenly getting an idea or acting in a way that helps to bring about the thing that you want or bring you closer to the thing that you believe or that you're convinced of or that you're focused on without you even realizing it. So to give an example of what I just said, let's say that I believe that people don't like me, right? I'm convinced that I can't be friends with certain people or with anyone at all, right? And obviously, that's what I'm focused on when I'm around other people. So because of that belief, and because I'm convinced of it, I may unconsciously end up portraying traits of someone who isn't easy to get along with, right? It's unconscious, so I don't really realize that I'm doing it. Maybe unless like I review the situation, can't talk. Maybe unless I review the situation critically afterwards, but like in the moment, right? I might appear like standoffish, or like having unconscious actions, like having my arms crossed, or like screw face, or like doing things to portray that I'm unapproachable. And when people talk to me, I might respond with a tone that isn't friendly. All the while, like, I don't even realize that I'm doing this, right? And then obviously, people respond unfavorably to that, and I end up reaffirming to myself that yes, people actually don't like me, or I can't be friends with certain people, or I can't be friends with people. Now, in another way, right? This can look like, I guess to give another example, this can look like me coming up with the script of this YouTube video, right? Like I did not expect to create this video. I had no idea what I was going to talk about after my last video. I thought, I was pretty thorough and whatever, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. So what had happened was I was consciously thinking about how I need to create another video because, I'm a YouTuber, right? I'm a content creator. And I'm convinced of this identity that I have as a content creator where I create these videos. And I'm so convinced of this that I was actually able to easily imagine myself creating, a video. I was imagining myself with like the hairstyle I might want to have, stuff like that. And initially I was trying hard to think of another topic to talk about, but then I stopped and I was like, you know what, like I'm a content creator. I'll eventually come up with something. And then I went to color. Because for those of you, if you haven't watched my previous videos, I love to color. So when I was coloring, this is the video idea that I came up with. And I wasn't expecting it at all. Like I don't even think I know what triggered it. I just, like, I had to stop coloring as the idea came up and I had to like just write all of this down. So what I wanted was to create a video, right? This here, not this, writing my script. I was going to say this video, but it's not, it's writing my script. And then now recording this, that was the action, right? And this is what I'm talking about. So when I say not to work hard, what I mean is that you won't end up needing to like rack your brain for an answer of like how you can get what you want. Because again, like I didn't come up with this idea because like I was sitting here racking my brain for ideas and like working hard for it. Like, my action or my work, it wasn't hard because like I naturally took action on an idea that it just happened. I came up with, right? And maybe this may not be the best example. Maybe the last one wasn't the best example, but the point is like, I think you get what I mean here, right? And to give like maybe another example, like maybe for you, maybe let's say what you want is to get a certain job. So you imagine having yourself so you imagine having this job or doing this job, you fully immerse yourself in that visualization, like doing the things I talked about, and then you go and you do something else, right? And then as you're doing something else, you suddenly get an idea to, let's say, write an article about something related to the job. Like let's say if the job is in management, you have the idea to write about your experience managing something, and what you learned and how that method could be applied more broadly. And then a day or so later, you get a message from a company that they saw your article, they liked what you talked about, and they want to interview you for the exact job that you wanted to do. Like you did work, right? In this case, you did work. You did an action, and that action led to you getting an interview. But the action wasn't hard. This is what I'm getting at. The action wasn't hard. You weren't working hard. You weren't like sitting there racking your brain about like how you're going to get this job and whatever qualifications. You weren't doing that, right? The action came to you naturally. And okay, I've given a few examples. I think you get what I mean here. So that's what I mean when I say like you won't work hard. To get what you want, you won't need to work hard. Yes, you'll need to take action, but you won't need to work hard. And I also do want to mention that, just to add to this, I think that the period of rest or calm is important for this process. And I think I may have talked about this in a previous video about calmness, like a calm mind and stuff. But I say that because after a period of focus, after we do something to relax or calm our minds, it gives our brain the time to use the energy that we would have used consciously. It gives our brain the time to use that energy in the background unconsciously to work at a solution, right? And I think that's a lot of words for what I'm trying to say, but essentially what I'm trying to say is that the energy the brain would have used to consciously find a solution, like as in you racking your brain, that energy gets transferred to the unconscious, and the unconscious can start to work on solutions, right? That's what happens when you are relaxed or calm. And like, as I mentioned, right, I got this idea to do this video when I was coloring. And me coloring, that is something that relaxes or calms my mind. And that is also why, like, even sometimes after we sleep, we may wake up with the solutions to the issues that we were thinking about. We are giving our subconscious minds the time and the energy to work things out for us, and to help us to get those actions, to get those ideas to our forefront. Like in my case, right, I was already convinced, because I was already convinced that I was a content creator. Like, I didn't have to do that work that I talked about previously, because I was already convinced that I was a content creator. And content creators, what do? They create regular videos. Like, I didn't need to use my imagination necessarily for that. Like, I was already convinced of my content creator identity. So that identity was already in my subconscious at that point. Like, already my brain was like, yeah, that's cool. This is safe. This is normal. This is what you do. So I didn't really, it didn't take much convincing for that, right? So now, in order to get to the solution or the action or the work of doing the next video, all I needed to do was relax my conscious mind to give more energy to my subconscious so that it could work on a solution, which was the topic of the next video. And I'm also especially mentioning this because I heard something the other day. I don't know where I heard it. I don't remember. But the other day I was hearing that the majority of our brain function is actually unconscious. Like, it was something crazy, like 80%, 70. It was like a large percentage of our brain power lies in the things that we do unconsciously, and a lot of that is just to keep us alive, like breathing, our heart pumping, stuff like that. But I think that our brain working to bring about the things that we believe or that we're convinced of is part of that process, right? Because again, our brain's job is to keep us safe, and what is normal is safe, and what we're convinced of is normalized. And our brain can figure out solutions best when we rest or when our minds are calm. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Sometimes people call it like a flow state, where, like, I don't know, you're just like doing something that you enjoy, and all of a sudden, like, you come up with a solution. Like, it's like that, right? That's what I mean. So I'm saying that because that's why I think after my brain was calm, it had the idea for this video, right? Like my mind already had the belief, or it was convinced that I'm a content creator, and that I make regular videos. So it just needed some time to figure out what I was going to talk about next. And when I'm resting, there's less energy going to my conscious brain, which means that my unconscious brain can get more of that energy. And then, I end up getting inspired to do something, which in my case was the action to write down the script and record this video. But was it hard to do this? No. Did I work hard to get what I want? Meaning another video topic? No, I did not. And that's a point I'm trying to make. So the long and short of what I'm trying to say here is this. If you have a goal that you are trying to attain, but you don't know how to get it, if there's something specific that you want, or like you want to live your life in a certain way and you don't know how to do that, but like you're working hard trying to figure that out, maybe the issue is that you are working hard. Maybe instead of working so hard and doing so many things, you could use that same brain power that I talked about. You could use that same brain power to help you, the same brain power that you're not even really tapped into. You can let that do the work for you. So maybe the only things that you need to do are to understand what you want, be convinced that what you want can happen for you, or has happened for you in some reality somewhere, meaning your imagination. And then let that, 70, 80%, whatever part of your brain that you're not actively using, that we're not actively using, let that figure out the solution for you. And then when you get an idea, because you will get one, right? When you get an idea, just do that idea. Like, don't work hard in the sense that you're trying to figure everything out consciously and do all of these things. Like, just let the ideas come to you after some rest or some calm, and then see where that leads you. Like even the greats did this, right? Like people like Einstein and such. Like it was regularly reported that they rested. They were like, if they were trying to figure something out, it was after they rested, after they were in a calm state, that the solution came to them. Okay, so I hope that this video gave you some helpful, actionable information about how you can stop working hard and instead work inspired, which won't feel hard. If you found this helpful, just let me know in the comments below. And if you do want some help, more directly from me outside of these videos, I actually have a few ways to help you. So one is that I offer coaching calls. I don't talk about this much, but I do. So I provide a couple types of calls. One is a clarity call to help you better understand what it is exactly that you want in your life. And then the next call is a freedom strategy session. And this is where I'm going to, as much as I can in 1 hour, intimately understand your life to help you craft like what your next steps could look like to get you living life on your terms. The second way for me to help you is to join my free newsletter. Up here is my website. You can join my free newsletter. It's on there, a way for you to join, and you will get helpful tips and prompts and inspiration to help you make life happen for you. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is my structured journal. And this is the journal that I currently use to keep track of my goals and keep me like in a positive headspace. It's cheap. It's an online journal right now, but I will probably release a physical one soon. If you're interested in that, just let me know. And if you're interested in any of these things that I mentioned, all of the links are in the description. Otherwise, you are welcome to keep getting helpful content from, these videos, because that's why I do this. I feel compelled to do this and to share this with you and help give you ways to live life on your terms, like how I live mine. Okay, so that is it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Lord, this is a long video, 20 minutes. Okay, so if you're still here, thank you. If you're still here, put like your favorite fruit in the comment. I don't know who watches this far in the video. I know I talk about helpful stuff because when I talk to people individually, they're like, "Oh wow, that's so helpful," blah 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 blah. But like sitting here for like 20 minutes listening to me talk, if you are, just leave like your fruit in the comments or something. Just comment a fruit and let me know. Sorry, I was MIA last week. I was sick. I probably still sound a little bit sick. I feel like I sound sick. I'm mostly getting over it. And I think I might create a video on like what I learned, because I took in some content and I learned some things, and I think it would be interesting to talk about. And by the way, this is my natural hair. This is not the hairstyle. So when I was thinking about the hairstyle, this is not it. It's close to it. I wanted to do extensions. But before I put in extensions, I always, I followed my sister's advice, one of my sisters. I followed their advice to part my hair first before I put in the extensions, just to make sure the parting is the way I want, and then I can put them in. And I just finally finished parting it yesterday. This was supposed to be done last week, but yeah, I was sick and I was down and out, and I am still recovering. I think I wanted to say something else, but like my brain is, maybe I'll re-record this video, I don't know. But my brain is a little fuzzy or something. I swear there was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember. I guess I'm done. 20 odd minutes. I guess I'm done. Yeah, so I don't know. Let me know also if you're still here, let me know if you like this hairstyle. Maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I won't put in extensions. This is kind of cute. Let me know what you think. I think it's kind of cute, and I'm kind of feeling myself today. I feel very, very pretty. I feel very beautiful. I'm like looking at myself. I'm like, oh, it looks so cute. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Okay. Yes. I wish you health, wealth, and happiness. I hope you're finding my videos helpful and encouraging to get you living life on your terms, because that's the entire point of me doing this. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.